All right. Get ready for our next performer. She will change your consciousness. A new view. Please welcome the amazing Fran Sisco. Tell the DJ about how you want to play it. All right. All right. We'll talk to the DJ to plug you in.
Thank you, Viviana. Oh, and I'm so happy to be here among such fantastic talent. It's really a joy. I feel honored. And I'm just going to take this coat off here.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, looking all right? Am I looking all right?
Yeah.
I'm trying. You know, it's 23 months. I'm transgender. I'm living as a full-time female for 23 months. How am I doing? All right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I love it. I love this. My wife hates it, but I love it. You know, an analogy about transgender, for some of you who may not have friends that are transgender or whatever, or a little confused, this analogy to me might work. You know, I'm in sort of transition. You know, a worm goes to a chrysalis, like in a cocoon, then it becomes a frenetic butterfly, or a frenetic moth rather, and then it becomes a graceful, beautiful butterfly. You know, isn't that like a great transition? Well, I'm in this combination stage. I'm part frenetic moth and not really graceful or beautiful butterfly. I have one wing is bigger than another. I've got graffiti on the wings. They're a little broken. I've got a little bit of a worm left, you know. So I'm in this combination stage. And sometimes that's confusing to people. My daughter Kelly is here, and luckily she grew up with diversity and she's become pretty accepting. My mother is a bit confused, so she's confused anyway because she's older, but when she spoke to me the other day, like each morning I speak to her on the phone, her caregiver calls at 7 o'clock, and I see her usually every other day. But the other day my mother called me and she says, I hear a baby. I hear a baby in the next room. I said, Mom, you don't hear a baby. There's not a baby there. But when I see you later on, we'll talk about it. So I went there. I was looking for a chair. Anyway, I went there and I sat down next to her, trying to comfort her. Like, what is this that she's hallucinating about a baby? So I said, Mom, there's no baby in the next room. She says, well, not only is there a baby, but they're talking about you and the baby. I said, what do you mean they're talking about me and the baby? You think I'm pregnant? She says, you are? And I said, Mom, I can't be pregnant. And she said, I know, you're too old. You know, so my mother, she's getting used to it. She said that this is really almost pushing her over the physical cliff, she calls it. But, you know, living as a transgender person, I take joy from some of the very small things. When people call me Miss, that is like so fantastic because I envision myself as a 28-year-old cute girl. And when they say Miss, that's who I think I am. So I'm at CVS the other day and I'm standing online and I was catching up on my emails, so I didn't hear the cashier from 20 feet away calling, Miss, Miss, Miss. So the guy behind me taps me on the shoulder, whispers in my ear and says, Miss, they're calling you. I says, oh, this is fantastic. The girl at the cashier is calling me Miss. The guy behind me is calling me Miss. The whole store thinks I'm Miss. Oh my God, this is great. So then as I go up to the cashier, I like gained a year with every foot because when I got up there, she saw me closer, and she saw that I wasn't a 28-year-old cute girl. I wasn't qualified to be called Miss, so she says, oh, your CVS card, ma'am. And then when she said that, it startled me so much that I said, oh, here it is, in a male voice. And she said, Thanks, sir. So I went from, in 2 minutes, I went from heaven, miss, purgatory, ma'am, to hell, sir. So, these things happen, Sometimes I'm living, my left brain is male, analytical, I'm a CPA too, I'm into numbers, or I can think about in those terms. But my right side, my female side, is very creative, I think, fun-loving, looking for a good time. But also, I don't like to say my age. So what I thought, the best of both worlds, I combined my left side analytical thinking with the right side, I don't want to say my age, and I came up with this concept. You might want to use this. The left side, the male side, says rounding. When a number is 5 or more, you can round up. Like 167 would be 170, that type of thing. So I know all of that. So I use it in the reverse, rounding down. So let's just say I'm 52. I round that down to 50. Then I take off 10 years, because what's a decade? Now I'm 40. And like when you buy a blouse that's $18.99, that sounds cheaper than 19. So I take off one more. So I go from 40 to 39. So now all of a sudden I went from 52 down to 39 with this rounding. But it's not dishonest, because I'm going to catch up. I'm going to make it up later. So I figure when I'm an 81-year-old, woman, elderly woman at 81, I'm just going to add the 13 years then. And I'll say, when someone asks me my age, I'll say, oh, I'm 94. And they'll say, oh, you look great for your age. So it'll work both ways, now and then, Sometimes this other best of both worlds works this way. I was on a flight from Chicago 2 weeks ago. I'm in the plane. I had to go to the bathroom, number one. I go in the back of the plane. You people have been on planes, right? Those little closets for bathrooms. I don't know why they make them so small. They're like this small. So I go in. I lock the door. I'm barely able to move. I see the toilet right there. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I have to pull up my dress. I got to turn around. I got to pull down my panties, my cincher. I got to work this whole thing. I got to put paper on the seat. I got all this work to do. I said, you know what? Who's going to know? So I just pull it up and went the male way, that type of thing. So it's not really that difficult to be transgender. In fact, I think it really works. People are very accepting and very open to it and stuff. But what I like to do is be perceived as a woman. In that other story, when they call me Miss and then Ma'am and Sir, but it's helpful when people call me she, or call me Fran, not Frank. So one time, my daughter was helping me out getting shoes, so we went to Marshall's, and we were rushing. So she's at the back of the store, and I needed to buy these shoes. They were about to close. She went to the back of the store, and what did she call out from the back? There are 3 sales girls and me, and that's it, and my daughter, Kelly. She calls out, Dad! 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 She's yelling out, and I'm going like, oh no, and then they were far away, like 40 feet away, and then they're looking, they thought maybe she was having a seizure or something. They thought maybe she had a problem with her father or something. But then they figured out that it was me. And then one girl came over to me, and she sensed that I was embarrassed. So she said, she was really nice. She says, don't worry. Everything at Marshall's is irregular. So, 10 seconds. So I'm so glad to be here. we're going. My daughter Kelly's up next. We're going to another thing in Long Island, so we won't be able to stay too much longer. But we'll definitely not book 2 things in the same night the next time. So lovely seeing you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for taping that too. Thanks, Adama.